slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Alright, it's good? Are you guys feeling good? Yeah. I don't know how I feel about going right out there in Congress. It's giving me a little bit of stress. Alright, it's not the first time I'm going out to British, but yeah, here we go. So my name is Heshan. I'm talking today about setting goals, taking initiative, and controlling your future. That's my topic. So I'm going to keep it very simple, but I'm going to share my story before I actually get there. So obviously you guys can see, now from here, from my accent, I'm from Sri Lanka. It's a very small island back in Asia. Close up. Slow down, okay. It's so crazy. Yeah, there you go. It's crazy. I don't give the same exact thing. Slow down, Heshan. My first ever speech I did in the leaders conference. It's just the accent, okay. So I came from Sri Lanka in 2016 to do my master's. I came to UCI, California, and decided, hey, doing that master's is going to be a great option. And I started my career, and obviously doing random jobs while I was doing my master's to pay my bills and do all the fun stuff that I can do. But in my last semester of my master's, I realized if I finish my master's and come to the job market, maximum salary I can start in California is $55,000 a year. I think Ed did a great job sharing the numbers with you guys. What is the average American right now making, average household?
60,000.
63,000, 65,000, all right, okay. So if I finish my master's, which means before that I did my bachelor's, which means I went to school for 4 years, and now I'm going to school for 2 years. And if I come to the job market after 7 years of studying, maximum potential in California for me was $55,000 a year. I was like, F that. So I went on Indeed, applied for a lot of jobs, and Sebastian's office actually called me. So I went for that interview, and I was like, you know what? This sounds cool. Only thing that stuck out to me was, hey, you can make $1,000 a week. So back in 2017, while you're being a college kid, $1,000 a week sounds really good. So I was like, you know what? Sign me up. Let's do this. So first month in, I was like, okay, cool kids, fun. You can grab a beer with some friends. So culture is good, I'm learning something, and this guy called Sebastian right in the front of the room, dropping knowledge. I was like, you know what, this sounds cool. So I'm gonna sit down with Sebastian and ask him what this is about. Because for me, my first goal, anyone thought this was just a sales job? Anyone in this room? All right, so same thing. I thought the same thing, it was just a sales job. So I saw people getting promoted. I was like, why is people getting promoted if it's just a sales job? Right, so I had to sit down and see like what's exactly going on. So one team night I grabbed Sebastian and I was like, okay, you gotta teach me what's going on here. I see people are promoting, getting out and everything. So, okay, sounds like a cool opportunity. So he sat down and he was like, hey, if you do these certain things, obviously, performance-based, you can get yourself promoted. I was like, wow, you can actually do that. So it doesn't matter where I'm coming from. It doesn't matter even my accent. It doesn't even matter how long I have gone to college. If I perform, I can keep moving up the ladder. I was like, okay, this sounds cool. So what I did was the first thing, obviously the first month of the business, I wasn't making like crazy money. I think my first paycheck was $300. Then my third paycheck was $1,000. I was like, okay, this is real. This actually goes to my account. I can actually cash this check out. This is legal. So I'm definitely doing this. So this is like real money. So I went to the Dollar Tree. Obviously, back in the days, I couldn't go to like Target to buy a book. Outside Dollar Tree was perfect. I grabbed this one book, and then I started doing goal setting, right? So obviously, my topic today is setting goals. So I'm going to tell you how I got to ownership, and after that, how was my career running ownership. So once I got this book, the first thing I wrote was, okay, I had to be very specific. I think Conliffe said about this, T is for what? Target, C is for what? Commitment, right? So I was like, you know what, as soon as I opened that book, I was super committed. I'm gonna plan my life. I was 25 years old. I only had like $265 in my bank account. So I was like, you know what, I need to really be specific of what I want. So I'm gonna talk about SMART goals for you guys today. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about SMART goals, right? Raise your hand if you have heard about SMART goals. If not, change your IC. Okay, anyways, S stands for what? Being specific. Right? It stands for being specific. So once I opened this book, I was like, you know what? I have to be very specific what I want. I do have I'm doing my master's degree right now. Coming to United States as a foreigner. So I have to be very specific what I want out of this. So first thing I wrote down was, okay, what kind of specific goals that I can actually write down? And do you guys know what R stands for in SMART goals? Reliable, realistic. Okay. So the second thing I was like, you know what? I got to be realistic on this game. Because if I think Ed Cunliffe said this earlier, we all tend to overestimate what we can do in a year. And we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. We all do that. We all do that. I tend to do that. So I remember I was starting my first business when I was like 16 years old. I was import and export. I was like, oh, I want to be a millionaire when I'm like 21 years old. I want everything quick, right? I want to flex on every cousin that I made. I want to flex on all my haters. That's how it was. Every young kid is like that, right? So at about 25, I think, Ed crushed it saying that for men, started working after 25, right? When you realize you only have 5 years, right? So I was 25, so I was like, you know what? I'm not just going to be specific, I'm going to be realistic. A kid coming from a different country, first thing I wrote on that piece of paper, it's going to take me 2 years to do what, if I want to get to ownership. It's going to take me 2 years. Realistically, if I committed, if I have a target, if I'm committed, it's going to take me definitely 2 years, right? But I was very realistic. I should have said it like, in 12 months I'm going to get to ownership. For me, it wasn't realistic. I look at every single person Sebastian promoted out, it was 2 to 3 years was his time. I was like, okay, if an average kid is getting promoted in 2 years, perfect, I'm going to put 2 years in. Right? So obviously there are things that you're going to go from leadership. I don't know what terms that you guys are using, but terms that we are using is obviously you hit from entry level, you get to leadership. From leadership, you get to senior leadership. Senior leadership is the stage where you're building a team, and then you get to assistant manager, and then obviously once you're well trained, what happens? You get a shot to run your own business. So 2 years sounds like a good plan. Right then, I wrote down, hey, first thing, I got to get really good with sales. Most of us, how many times you feel like, how many times of you or your guys say, hey, I might suck at sales, but you give me a jam, bro, I know I can train people. I can train people solid. Anyone has like entry levels who came to you and said that? It doesn't work like that. You got to master the sales portion first. Right? You cannot skip a beat. You first master the sales portion and then you get to the training set. I'll say, you know what? I got to be very specific what I want to do. Alright, so I'm going to give myself 90 days to master the sales first. That's the first thing I took that paper and be like, I want to be very specific. If I don't master the sales portion, I cannot teach to anyone else. Right? So I gave myself 90 days and I wrote this. There is competition. Only thing that can separate myself is my work ethic. So I decided to work 7 days a week. Decided to work 7 days a week. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to be super committed and see what I can get out of that. And then I realized if I add more hours, guess what happens? My timeline decreases. So in 9 months, I got promoted to assistant manager. Right? So the fun thing about getting promoted as assistant manager journey is like, you got to keep your target from all the distractions that you're going to have. It's not easy. But I tell you the stories of like how I got promoted in 9 months. There was a lot of adversity. There's a lot of adversity. You're not alone. Everyone goes through adversity. But like I kind of said earlier, your target is so big. So the reason why I wanted to go all out was I wanted to retire my parents. So as an assistant manager, I was able to tell my parents, hey, stay home, you don't have to work anymore. Right? I thought you deserve to know. Alright, so once I did that, so I was like, okay, fine. If I can do that, so then I could be, at next phase, you got to be very smart about what are things that you can achieve. Right? The reason you got to be realistic because we always overestimate our skills for 1 year time. Extended. You are on your own journey. Right? Do not compare yourself to someone next to you. You're on your own journey. Right? So then obviously 9 months, I got to assistant manager. And then I realized, okay, now I'm getting to the ownership level of game. So I'll give you my stats. So I've been running an office for 5 years. Obviously, we have this 1 year in here that now we had like minus because everyone went through COVID. So technically running a business for 4 years, saved $500,000 and retired my parents, right? So these are the things happen. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate it. But these are things that you really need to understand. First, you need to understand the principles. If you don't understand principles, you tend to divert from where you're trying to. So first things first, when you are doing your SMART goals, make sure you do all have a framework of understanding it. These are the principles that I'm not willing to negotiate with myself. So it's super easy to do the goals for yourself. When you have your own principles, you know, okay, you're not negotiating with anything else. It's because it's so easy to get distracted. It's super easy to get distracted. We have something called TikTok going on right now, something called Instagram. You guys probably might have not heard it because you guys are leaders. Yeah, so these things tend to distract us, but the fun thing is if you do have principles, the timeline that you want to get there actually becomes shorter. So my realistic goal to get as a manager was 2 years. I did it in 9 months. Why? The target and commitment was very clear. I was not willing to get distracted. I was willing to stay focused and make sure I get to that final destination. Right? And the same thing in SMART goals, one thing that I really want to mention to you guys is the timeline. Right? Every one of us want to make sure that we do have a timeline. So what happens when the timeline doesn't go the way that you want it to go? We get knocked out, we get pissed, right? We tend to compare ourselves. Who cares? Who cares? Stop comparing yourself. Your timeline has to be different from someone else's timeline. It's natural, it's normal. It happens to all of us. Right? So when you put a timeline, you got to stop comparing yourself. Leadership is not easy. It sucks, but it pays well. If you master it, it pays you well. But it's only going to suck for a very short amount of time. The moment that you put, hey, I want to be a greatest leader, I want to hire on everybody, I want to get to ownership. Yeah, you tend to put a timeline. I mean, actually give it up with Devin. Devin's going to be, we're going to make his first $1 million as a rookie owner. He started 7 years ago in the game, but he was 19 years old, never gave up. And that was, he put a timeline. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to give up. He's going to be a speaker in the club, I think, right before Brandy. So you guys will hear from him how he's crushing it. But he knew that, hey, I'm going to go through adversity, whatever happens. But when you have specific goals, you not tend to give up. You understand why you're doing what you're doing. Right? You always have to keep the focus on the right place. Okay, so I'm going to finish with this for you guys. This is something helps me out a lot, especially when you're going to take initiative in your goals. Write this down. Money loves speed. Wealth loves time. And poverty loves indecision. No. Okay, here we go. Money loves time. Money loves speed. Wealth loves indecision.
No.
Sorry, my bad. Wealth loves time. Poverty loves indecision. Most of us try to tell yourself, oh, money is going to solve this and that. Money is not going to buy happiness. That's BS. Bro, go make your money. Back in the days, we only had, back in the days, when I say back in the days, 5 years ago, but if Adam talks about it, he's going to probably say $20 a coupon selling. But now everybody's, most of you guys are making like close to $100,000 a year. Right, I have 2 guys here right in front of me. Like both of them are going to make like $160,000 to $200,000 a year this year. That's bad as money. So money loves speed. Do not stop. This is not the time to stop. This is the time to go all gas. Because things are going to go faster than ever before. So money loves speed. So you got to keep your speed on. And wealth loves time. Most of us tend to build wealth rather than making money. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. When we are young, we always want to build wealth. Hey, I want to buy the house. I want to do this. I want to get into real estate and this and that. No, first learn how to make a lot of money. But you got to have speed. The moment you don't have speed, you're done. You're gonna crash somewhere and then you're gonna stop and you're gonna go back to running like 20 miles an hour. It's not gonna work right now. This is 2024. Right? Birth loves time. It's gonna take time. First learn how to make money and then you will build your wealth. And last is poverty loves what? Damn. That's why it's easy to get rich. Why? Because a lot of people makes very poor decisions. Right? So if you want a competitive advantage, get really good with making good decisions. You do automatically gonna have a competitive advantage over everyone else. Alright, that's all I have for you guys.
Let's go!